Sounds great.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, hello everyone. It's good to see you here this morning. So I guess we have either the more convinced people, as you were dancing yesterday and still brave to be here this morning, or you are the more skeptical. So let's see. Well, good morning anyway. I'm Sylvie Colli from the University of Lausanne. I work at the International Relations Office there.
And I'm Alison O'Reilly from the University of Vienna, and I work for Research Services and Career Development.
Okay, so the title of the session is about staff training opportunities and opportunities for internationalization at home. We see that more like a professional development than really internationalization at home, even if this is an important part of this kind of staff training. But internationalization at home takes place because you go to another institution and you really bring back some ideas from their context. So this is how internationalization is integrated in this aspect.
Okay, so we'll start with a quote first, so you know what we're talking about. If you look on the website of Erasmus+, you will find the following sentence. The first sentence is not that important, but it carries on with teaching opportunities are also available for teaching and non-teaching staff employed in a higher education institution. So this means that administrative staff is included. So this means there is actually money for you as an administrative staff at a university to use these Erasmus monies to go on a staff exchange. Another sentence is staff members are selected by the sending higher education institution. The sending institution and the receiving institution must have agreed on a program of the activities to be undertaken by the visiting staff member prior to the start of the mobility period. So it's your office, usually the IRO, who decides who can go. So that's just sort of an input to know what we're talking about here. So how does it work technically? There are different formats you can do. For example, you can go for an individual tailor-made staff exchange. That means that you really decide on your program, decide what is it you need most. As you probably heard yesterday from Barbara from Porto, there are also lots of training weeks. So there are people, universities who offer these training weeks. Sylvie's organizing a training week in June. So you can find these on different websites. You can apply for these. There's also the job shadowing concept that you can just go and see if there's someone who's working a position you're interested in, and then you can just work with them for a time and just follow their everyday moves and see what their work includes. Important thing is the program needs to be defined, so you have to exactly write down what is it you want to do. Like a teaching agreement, you have to set down the different elements of what you want to do, and also describe which impact this will have. A staff training can be from 2 days to 2 months, so there's quite an extensive period you can use. And Erasmus+ could provide you with funding for travel, accommodation, further expenditures, and this is available from Erasmus+, or?
It's also available from what we call now the SEMP program, the Swiss European Mobility Program. So don't forget that it's still possible to come to Switzerland, and also keep inviting us to your staff week, because we also have some funds for our staff to go.
Okay. One more remark is also that the new Erasmus+ also includes PhD students and teachers. So if you have any PhD students you need to send somewhere, that's also an option. And it doesn't mean that you have to go to university. If you work, for example, in a research office and you want to go to an enterprise to learn how they deal with their research development, you can also go to an enterprise.
And now, how does it work ideally? Technically, you can go and so on. But what we wanted with this slide is try to give you some recommendations of how to really use this as a powerful tool for development. And it can really be what we call the win-win-win tool for the staff member that is going on the training, but also for the host institution that will learn from the perspective of the staff member they are welcoming, and also for the sending institution, as you will bring back with you new ideas, new perspective that you've learned from the host institution. And so some recommendation would be to first identify the priorities and find a good balance between your interest to go and between the needs of the institution. I can give you a concrete example for myself. So I went for a staff training in Vienna. My priority was to improve my German skill. But then that was not enough for my institution, so they said, okay, you can go, but still we have to find some other things that you need to learn there and bring back. So the needs that will be defined will define the format of your training. If you have a very specific question of something that you want to develop at your institution, you should maybe go for a tailor-made training. Go to a specific partner who you know they do this thing you want to develop. They do it well, and that will suit your need better. If you want a brighter, a broader perspective, then go for a staff training where staff training week where you will meet a lot of people from different institutions and so on. Identify the best partner. As I said, if you have a specific question, you have to find from whom you can learn this best. And then plan a realistic project, either on the short term or on the long term. What I would say with this is, see your staff training as a little mission that you have to fulfill while you are abroad. Be well prepared to get the best results from the program. If you go on a staff week, for example, really get prepared on what's on the program. See also what you can bring from your institution. See what's happening at your institution so that you can interact best with the people there. See what are the points that you really need to improve and while you are abroad. And then also be open to unexpected ideas, because of course there will be a lot of information coming in, something that you have not expected, and be open to catch this when they come. So, why do this? We decided to show you 2 experience reports just to see why this could be good for you, but also we wanted to sort of show on our both examples a few things, because we strongly believe, both of us, that our staff exchange really was a tool that helped us develop our activities. So we're very positive about this. Indeed.
We also believe that if you use this tool well, it's best, as we said before, best for all 3 partners, for you as the staff member, for your host institution, and for your sending institution. Because in my case, I was in Cardiff. Most of the staff there had never been to a European university, so they could talk to me and profited from my site without even having to leave their office. So they profited from me. I learned tons from them, and then I got back and implemented all of these ideas. We also have in common that both of our staff exchanges lasted several weeks. So maybe many of you have already been to one of these staff weeks. But we've heard that the staff exchange itself is not as common. So people actually going to institution for a while doesn't happen that often. But we both believe that this is actually a brilliant way of learning things. So we're trying to promote this slightly.
And you can really work while you are abroad for a longer time. You can really kind of take some of the tasks at the host institution.
And why we're also telling you this while we're here is because this is an excellent opportunity for you to meet partners from other universities, to get in contact with them. And maybe if you're talking to someone here and you say, that's really interesting what you're doing, and this is something I really have to look into, could I maybe come for a week or so to look at this? So always keep in mind when you meet people that it's an easy way, because, for example, I know Sylvie from staying at the University of Vienna really well. This is our 2nd speech we do together. It's so much easier to cooperate when you know someone really well, and she phones me if there's a problem at her university, I phone her. This is like a great cooperation to have, so keep this in mind.
Okay, so my experience at the University of Vienna, so as I said, I'm working for the International Relations Office at UNIL, and I actually went to the Center for Doctoral Studies in Vienna, so it's a complementary approach. That was already 2 years ago, April to July 2013. And I must say that there were direct results, but 2 years later I can still feel some, I heard that in Vienna, maybe I should try to incorporate that, or this idea that I had 2 years ago in some of the programs that we have now at UNIL. And so my stay lasted 6 weeks with the support of an Erasmus grant, but also with support in kind by the University of Vienna. They offered me the German courses that I wanted to take, so I shared my time between taking German courses in the morning and then working at their office in the afternoon. I had a workplace there, and they also integrated me in all their events and projects so that I could learn from all this. And why did I want to do this? So I really wanted to develop complementary competencies transferable to my context. And for example, I wanted to reinforce knowledge of German. That's what I said before, because I need it for my work in Switzerland. I wanted to acquire competencies in the management of European projects, because at the time, for Swiss people, we could, for Swiss institutions, we could manage projects. Erasmus and Switzerland, it's always a bit up and down, but yes, at the time we could manage projects. I also wanted to develop and acquire new knowledge in the field of international research and its funding. We depend on the Vice Rector for Research and International Relations at the University of Lausanne, and this was new at the time, so I thought it was interesting to actually merge what I do for international office and mobility and know more about research opportunities and programs. And learn about the support to PhD candidates. I'm in charge of co-tutelle de thèse at UNIL, and our system is not always satisfactory, I would say. So that was also an opportunity for me to learn from what they do at the Center for Doctoral Studies in Vienna, and of course also develop my network. And then why did I choose Vienna? As I said, I went not to the IRO office there. I went to another office so that their perspective is really complementary to what I do. So I try to bring my IRO perspective while I was there, but I could learn all these complementary things that we don't do at the IRO office in Lausanne. And also, yes, there was a real pre-existing trust between their team and our team. So we know each other. It was easy for me to approach the boss there, saying, okay, could we try to do something together, and so on. And as he knew our team, he knew the work that we do, it was easy to approach them. Okay, about the outcomes, I would say there are two different kinds of outcome. The direct ones, I learned German, indeed. I learned new ways of welcoming PhD students and new ways of working with PhD students. As I was in close contact with the people working with research program there at their office, I learned also how to manage this. I learned more about coordinating EU project and so on. I have an enlarged network now because, of course, they don't have the same partners as we do. So these were for the direct outcomes. And then there are all the indirect outcomes that also go with it. The ability to think out the box, or going abroad like this and going out of your comfort zone really pushed me to think out the box. And now I see I can I can connect with other people. I see, okay, they would do this way in Vienna, so maybe I should try to think in another way as we usually do at our office, and this brings all new ideas and etc. And yes, I was also working there on a project developing on personal and personal development planning, and they do it for the doctoral students. And I'm not normally in close contact with doctoral students, but everything I learned in this project could be actually transferred to the to my population, which are the Erasmus students and the mobility students. So really increased way to connect with new people and so on.
Okay. So in my case, I went to Cardiff University. I went there in January 2014 and stayed at the office for 4 weeks. So I was at the University Graduate College. And why did I go there? We were at that time at a restructuring process at the University of Vienna. So there were many areas we were developing new, which we before wasn't our area of work. So we had to start working on many areas we didn't know anything about. So we thought we took this as a possibility to see how they do things. I wanted to learn from more established institutions. The Center for Doctoral Studies only was established in 2009, so we're quite a young office. And the University Graduate College has been around for ages. So I think they've been around for like 20 years or so. So they've definitely gone through far more than we have. So it's always good to see how they developed things. At the Center for Doctoral Studies, we have around 50 to 60 workshops for PhD candidates per semester, and we're always trying to see, what workshops do the people need, what will help them. And the Graduate College in Cardiff has many, many workshops, so it was also an idea to see what do they offer. I spoke to students, saw what they liked, what helped them, and then came back to develop our own workshop ideas. And I also wanted to understand the UK system, because we were thinking of doing some projects with them, and to be honest, none of us understood what they're doing over there, because it always seems to be different. So it really helped me to understand how the UK system works. Even though I'm English, I have no idea about the UK. So, why did I choose Cardiff? Cardiff has a very long tradition in doctoral education support, so they've been doing this for a while. They were shortlisted for the Times Higher Education Award for Outstanding Support for Early Career Researchers, which is, a sign of excellence. They are really in the top range in this area, so why not learn from the best? And we had very good contacts to the vice director of the Graduate College, so I knew him personally. I sent him an email and said, can I come? And 5 minutes later he was like, sure, when do you want to come? So it really made things so much easier to know who you were approaching. He knew who I was, and then I only had to explain what I want to do, and then we'd settled this within days. My whole thing was settled, and he really helped me a lot. He spent a lot of time. I told him who I want to talk to, so he had already established contacts with everyone I needed to talk with. So it really helped to have someone you trust in an institution, and then you can work together with. So keep that in mind. Choose somewhere where you maybe know someone quite well, just so you also feel comfortable going there, that you don't think I'm going into somewhere where I'm going to be on my own, but at least you know some people there. So what were my outcomes? I definitely had new ideas for workshops, so we've been developing some different things to support our PhD candidates. We're also sometimes looking at things from a slightly different perspective. We always seem to have sort of one line of the way we did things, and now I have this outside view and think, oh yeah, we could maybe think of this. We definitely got new initiatives concerning career development consultations. This is something we so far weren't doing, but we're thinking of developing. And I spoke to many people at University of Cardiff who work in this in the different areas, got different ideas. I even met with one woman twice, because a week later I had more questions, and then I could meet with her again to really find out how they do it and what is important. And now we really have got a good idea of how we can start building this up. And this would have been really hard without finding out how others do this. My network also, I really had an enlarged network afterwards. I found about all these mailing lists they had in UK, which I so far didn't know. So also with our our long life learning project we have, where we sent out a survey. I could profit from this network because I knew how to approach the right people afterwards, and that really helped us get in lots of contacts from the UK, which we wouldn't have had otherwise. And then we even mentioned this on one of these mailing lists, and we straight away got an email from Vitae, who was interested in our project and we may work together with. So it really helped us establish the contacts. And I got new perspectives on recruiting, career development and welcoming service. So recruiting is something we don't do at the University of Vienna due to some weird laws we have. But we're thinking of starting this in a specific area, so I contacted the people there, worked out how they do that, so we have some ideas. And also I'm in charge for the welcoming service for international PhD candidates, and as soon as I got back I started restructuring my services, which I'd done so far, because I had so many more ideas, and I thought, oh yeah, I'm missing this and I'm missing this and I have to do this differently. So I really came back with lists and lists of ideas and started implementing them straight away. So I really profited from it, and I think the services I offered so far really improved afterwards.
Okay, so how can we do this? The first thing is to check if your university supports this kind of initiatives. If you are from IRO office, I guess most of you're probably the first ones informed about it, but in case.
So think about what you want to achieve. So really think about what is it you need to learn, and then find out who you can learn this best from.
Research where and from who you can. Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped out.
Yeah, if you have attended the session yesterday afternoon, there is a platform where you can actually research for staff weeks. It's called the iMotion platform. The website is indicated here, and there are really there's really a long list of staff week that are posted on this platform where you can choose from and register and so on. And also, as Alison said before, take advantage of your existing network. This is really, if you want a tailor-made program, or even if you want to go to a staff week, it's a really good way to target the place you want to go.
And you have to plan your project so you can best convince hierarchy to maximize your results, because quite often, we heard yesterday from Barbara from Porto, she's very open to sending her staff away, but there are definitely institutions where they're not happy to send you away for a week or even more. So you really have to plan your project. I spent a lot of time researching the services in Cardiff, and I made an exact plan of who I wanted to meet. I had already pre-contacted everyone, so I knew who was on holiday when, so I knew that I could exactly meet everyone I needed to meet. So make a good plan, and it really will help you convince your boss or even your vice rector that this makes sense.
And also, once you are back at your institution, remember to share the information that you have learned, because as we said, there may be a lot of ideas that you get. Maybe some are not directly useful for you, but you can also share with the other staff at your institution. And yes, this is a question we receive often, like how to overcome the barriers, how to go like for a month away. There are many options. I'm sure you've been checking your emails every day. Long distance work is now possible with, so this helps.
So share your time between what you do for your host institution and your home institution. I spent in Cardiff about 2 to 3 hours a day, checking my emails, answering things, doing regular tasks I would have done back in Vienna, for which I don't have to be at home. So I did part of my work. I'd say I managed about 30 to 50% of my work on some days, and I only had to share some of my tasks with my colleague, who then had a bit more work for a short time. But I really think I managed to do a lot on long distance.
Your HR service may even have a policy or a budget to support staff development. So this is also something that you can check and maybe rely upon.
Yeah. Maybe take turns with the people in your office, so that you say, this is what Barbara said yesterday as well, and we thought was interesting, is, if everyone's allowed to go at some point, just make sure you work out when is the best time to go, when isn't there that much work, and when is there a chance that you can alternate that maybe 1 year one person goes, or one person goes in summer, one person goes in winter. Just keep in mind that you arrange yourself well.
Yeah, and I think we can really be creative. If you are convinced that it's a good thing to go, be creative on how to overcome the barriers. This is a suggestion. For example, if you go for a longer period, hire an Erasmus trainee who could, for example, take some of your tasks.
We also, one thing we thought about is if you discuss this with maybe people here and you say, oh, you always wanted to do that, I always wanted to do that. We were thinking about even exchanging it. We could have done that. We would have thought about it, that I go to UNIR whilst Sylvie comes here, came to my place, and then we could have exchanged, and then it wouldn't have been too big a problem that someone was gone, because she could have taken over some of my job, I could have taken over some of her job. So this is something we also just maybe, you said that someone actually said to you, yeah, why didn't you tell me? I would have loved to exchange job with you. So this is maybe just a thought, if that helps, so you can go. Maybe someone can change jobs with you and you can just experience what the other person does.
And I think on the iMotion platform there's not yet an exchange option. Is Chris here?
Yes, Chris is up there.
Yes, Chris. So that could maybe be something to think about, to really so people can try to find somebody to exchange, really.
So this is one thing. You may have to really work hard to convince people you can do this. It's not as easy, as Sylvie said before. You're going somewhere without knowing anyone. It's not always easy, but it's really worth it. It's a great experience. You learn so much, and you feel much more confident coming back to your own office and understanding so much more.
And as a final word, I would say we all work hard to make the student mobility the best experience, and we don't like to hear, okay, they go on a holiday, they only party, etc. So take staff exchange as seriously as we take the student exchange, and it's really work, but it's really worth it when it's well prepared. So I think that's it.
That's it. Go on a staff exchange.
And we are open to questions.
We're open to questions.
They have prepared chairs for us, but I think we can stand.
We have only 10 more minutes, so.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Renata from Zagreb. This is excellent. There were just questions I wanted to ask you, like long distance work and everything. I had Erasmus Mundus exchange for a month. It was the same thing. I was like, but I was working also really early in the morning and late at night. But okay, I managed. I wanted to go. So go. The other question that I have was, you were for 6 weeks or 4 weeks abroad. It was Erasmus grant, or I don't know. I was asking for Erasmus grant because it's a lot. I don't know. Do you have a small amount of people who are asking for Erasmus grant? Because I cannot allocate 4 weeks for somebody because I have a lot of demands. But also Croatia is new member in Erasmus. So maybe this is why we have like a smaller envelope. But I would just want to ask you, maybe the reason, because I heard from somebody else, from some other countries, that Erasmus grant is not sufficient, that people don't go on Erasmus. So
I have to say that in my case, our IRO office decided you can have it up to 6 weeks, but my IRO office only gives it up to 2 weeks because they want more people to have the possibility. So our deal was that they pay for 2 weeks. And then, because our HR department has money for staff development, so they allocate a budget, it was combined. So in the end, my office paid, I paid some of it myself, but I had 2 weeks fully funded, including the flight there and back. And then the accommodation for the other 2 weeks was paid by my office. And then I had the rest of the expenses, like food, and I took over myself.
But
so.
Do you know maybe per year how many weeks do you have for staff?
I'm not from the IIO office, so I don't know how much we have.
In our case, we also have a limited number of weeks, and they were not used that year, so I could benefit from from a longer time. But what we could imagine is organize a call 1 year in advance, even before you apply for grants. You do this?
I don't have enough money.
Okay.
So we decided on institutional level to give only 5 per diems per person.
Okay.
So in that way, I can send like 150 people, teachers and staff on exchange.
Yeah.
But I think because it's a small envelope, and maybe our allocations in Croatia to go abroad maybe are bigger. I don't know. I would really want to know. Sorry?
It's small finance for staff in our country as well is under finance. Yes, it's not too
But I
much
think it's
money.
also a matter. It's also a matter of national aims. I think they have like a span that they give per diem, so they decide on the percentage that they will give the table like 3 ABC groups. I think it's also a question of national agency how they will distribute the money.
Yeah, of course there are limited numbers of places, but I'm not sure it would become a huge thing. So there are only a few people who are willing to go for a long period of time, and I don't know if there's 1 or 2 grants for 4 weeks maybe per year. Yeah. And for finances, if as I went away for quite a long time, I was able to sublet my apartment, which is also convenient to help finance.
Yeah, I sublet my apartment in the time as well and financed the rest of it like that. But another thing, and this didn't work out for us quite, is we had a lifelong learning project, and I was actually supposed to do some interviews in the time I was in the UK, so we could have financed my flight over that. But unfortunately it didn't fit together with the time schedule. We were just running behind schedule, and then I couldn't do this. But there was also the idea of using a project to add on to this, to have your travel costs covered by another project. So we were quite creative about this.
Yeah? Okay. Well,
I think maybe Sylvie might be able to answer my question. Do you have an announcement for the staff of your university? Can they apply? Do you have a procedure how you choose those people who can go abroad?
We have a web page where we announce these possibilities, and for the moment, I must say we have enough grants for the demands. So we don't have to have a call and select the people. Is that your question?
Yeah, I would like to know, how do you, do they have to, if they have to explain where they want to go or why they want to go to a partner university, do they have to do that on paper, or do they just talk to you?
In my case, there was a form. I had to write a short proposal explaining where I'm going, what I'm doing there, who I know there, who are the people I will meet. So I had to write like 1-page proposal plus a short text on the institution, and then I handed that into my international office. I'd spoken to them beforehand about the possibilities, so I knew what I was up to, and then we, together with my boss who helped me, we wrote this proposal to make sure it was convincing.
Thank you.
It is normally a form that is provided by your national agency or adapted at the institutions. So you are not from an IRO office.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. So ask your national agency about these possibilities. They should have forms like ready-made. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yes, Renata.
Can I ask a question to everybody?
Sure.
I think it goes along with the question of a colleague. Can you please raise your hand if you know if for staff exchange, not staff exchange, do you have a call, or is it like if you just want to go, you apply to your IRO office or Erasmus office? Who does have a call? Once a year? Okay. Okay. Okay, I do the same. Thank you. Just wanted to know.
But I see at the University of Lausanne, staff exchange is extending, and it's becoming more popular also outside the IRO. And we may have to organize calls soon as well.
But we started with call for everybody, yeah. For training, we had PhD students, teachers, lecturers, professors, IROs, finance office, everybody. So we started like this. So we thought it was like equality for all. So we.
And what are your criteria for the selection?
Luckily, we have enough money because we started with 5 days for 5 per diems. So, and afterwards we have like 33 faculties. So we look that each faculty is represented. If I have a waiting list, then we look if we already gave to these faculties. Also, of course, the application has to be good. Otherwise, it's not accepted. It can not be for research. And so there are different, and also, yes, we have for teaching mobility, we have like priorities given to full professors, then associate professor, because they're like, we are, yes, for exchange, but it's like also international visibility. Our full professors are more experienced in teaching. And for staff training, it's the other way around. We gave priority to our younger teachers, administrative staff, and then full professors at the end. So.
Well then, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, do I need to leave it? Oui. Ouais, alors je suis en train de